I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times. It's Wednesday, August 13th. News in Arkansas today. A 3-hour meeting of the Little Rock City Board last night was taken up almost entirely with discussions of efforts to make private clubs in Little Rock close earlier than 5 a.m. Surprisingly, to me anyway, there's strong resistance on the city board to a proposal to close the clubs at 2 a.m. or at 3 a.m. 2 days a week as a compromise offered by Brad Kazort and Gene Fortson would do. There's some people on the board, sort of some old folks like me with conventional lives who seemed a little nervous about affecting the businesses of existing private clubs who stayed open until 5 a.m. for years and years, and what effect that might have on their employees. We'll see. Next week, they could vote on competing ordinances. One, to move the closing hour back, the other to require the clubs to hire more off-duty policemen for security. At this point, I think the chances are that the 5 a.m. closing will stand, but we'll see next week. Check back and we'll find out. The discussion was so long on the private clubs last night that the city board didn't get around to another hot topic, and that's the Uber and Lyft services in which you use a cell phone app to get car service rather than a taxi cab. A lot of interest in that here. It's been very popular in other cities, but that was put off for another day. Elsewhere in Arkansas, the Arkansas Democratic Party has begun an effort to enlist campaign volunteers for the Get Out the Vote effort in the fall by appealing to people who are interested in seeing a higher minimum wage for Arkansas's poor workers, that is, working people. This is a strong theme in the campaign for governor by Mike Ross, the Democratic candidate. I noticed today that a candidate for state senate, Tyler Pearson, who's running against Jason Rapert of Conway, is going to bring in the governor of Maryland this Saturday to talk about pre-K education and the minimum wage. Again, key aspects of the Democratic campaign. Two problems with that. One is the minimum wage issue is not yet qualified for the ballot. It may not be there to talk about. And two, I'm just still not sure, as good as these issues are, as important as they are, if they move voters as much as, yes, that dirty word, Obamacare. Elsewhere, the Arkansas Blog today has a story about a split in the Arkansas Supreme Court on the adoption of new rules of civil procedure, sort of an arcane thing, but there are some lawyers who think the Supreme Court is becoming factionalized, and that's not a good thing for the law if you have warring factions who are competing with each other on major issues. Sometimes unanimity is a good thing. We have news today, too, of flashy new seats for students at Fayetteville to sit in at Razorback football games. It seems to be more about entertainment than about football, which may be the reality of the situation. Tents and DJs and drinks, not beer drinks, I don't think. Don't worry about that. Also on the blog today, I'd close by saying this, and there have been some comments about whether we have opinion here. We don't. Obviously, we do inject some opinion in it. It's not always from one side of the coin, believe it or not. I want to say a kind word today for Mike Huckabee. I did an item today rounding up some of the unbelievable things people have written and said in the wake of the death of Robin Williams by suicide. People have used it to take off on their own pet peeves, abortion, liberals, Obama, whoever. Mike Huckabee stood out from this group, and I think Maureen Dowd of the New York Times was the worst, was her column trying to find another way to turn it into a screed against Hillary Clinton. Mike Huckabee wrote a genuine, heartfelt, compassionate, and warm piece about Robin Williams and the demons he battled, and my hat's off to Mike Huckabee. I'm Max Brantley. I'll see you tomorrow.